sees them as his son. In fact, he sees himself as the chief mourner for anybody in Taraba that, has died because of any crisis. What do? We can stay back and begin to talk about reprisal and begin to talk about revenge and begin to count our dead and begin to, more. But leadership, because, the higher point of leadership in this matter is to provide leadership, one, and two, to find solutions. And not just to dwell with a problem and begin to talk about one particular issue and talking as if that overshadows every other thing that has happened. If you lose one person and someone lost, let's say, 100%, you'd have lost just 1%, feel the same pain as the person that's lost 100 or even 1,000. Because every death comes with the same pain. There's no one death that is bigger than another death. So the same thing with life. No one life is better than another person's life. All life matters. Everyone's life matters.
Well, tell me the status of that crisis now. The herdsmen still on rampage. How many cases of deaths in recent times have recorded?
Well, recently, the governor raised an alarm that our state was going to be attacked in 10 days' time. That didn't happen, of course, but right after that, pockets of crisis, especially now in the southern part of the state, far from where the governor, and even where General Danjuma comes from, became an epicenter of crisis recently with, isolated cases of people, going, the whole village was even burned down. And you see, you have all these crises. And again, I think everybody by now is satisfied that, look, it's now become a national discourse, thankfully, that, look, we have a problem on our hand. We have herdsmen going everywhere. It is sad, but that is what it is, that they are seen as the aggressors. It's difficult to even make a good case for them unless if you are not being realistic. They're everywhere. Not just Taraba, but Benue, and I think the recent case is Kogi. But in Taraba, a lot of effort have gone into ensuring that we have relative peace. And but of course, that has come through a whole lot of effort. Sometimes with citizens participating in being watchful, in keeping vigil, and doing a whole lot of supervision work and watching over others. So yes, a whole lot of work has gone into Taraba and is still ongoing. But I think this week maybe we've had a respite last week going into this week. But the weeks before then, there were cases in Tapum where, of course, herdsmen got into places and were causing havoc. But they are far in between now, not like before, where it was a pattern. I think maybe the danger has gone elsewhere in the country. But we are on the watch, and we're very observant. We're also very conscious of movements, and we're doing a lot. The governor is spending a whole lot of time and even resources in ensuring that the state is secured. Of course, you must give kudos to the military who have been around. We have an operation now called Operation Catch Race in place, and you see them, especially on the highways, ensuring that they keep the peace. But
well, interesting. Now, is this a military that a prominent son of your state said is not neutral, that they are, biased in this particular conflict?
Like I say, you must take what we're back to general talk. I can see we must. The general is not slamming. Is the you have to put everything in context. Close observation of something that is wrong. I think we should all look into what he has said with the same seriousness that he said it, and not just to say, "Oh, okay, that is what he said is entirely wrong," and everything. Our governor loves to cooperate with all the security agencies and work with them. But if Benjamin comes around and he said the kind of thing he has said, that does not in any way reduce what he has said. And I think we should take what he said seriously and also find ways of because the general, I'm sure, is also about seeking solutions, finding answers. And so we must cooperate with him in that direction.
All right. I'd like to thank you very sincerely. Mr. Emmanuel Bello, the spokesman to Governor Darius Ishaku of Taraba State, joining us live on the line from Jalingo. We appreciate your time on Frank Talk this morning, sir.
Thank you, Femi.
Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Emmanuel Bello, the spokesman to the Taraba State Governor Darius Ishaku, joining us live on the line here at this time from Jalingo. Live on the line this morning. Well, thank you so much. We'll be crossing over to an elder statesman, Chief Tola Adeniyi, to join us live on the program this morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Frank Talk this morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us on Frank Talk. Well, that particular comment credited to General T.Y. Danjuma has been generating so much controversy within the polity. Tell me what you make of that statement, asking Nigerians to rise up and defend themselves.
Well, it's a very good and welcome development, and I'm very, very impressed. I feel very elated that a person of the stature of General Danjuma will come out boldly to make that pronouncement. It is something that many Nigerians have been whispering about and so on and so forth, talking about in beer parlors and so on and so forth. And government not really taking heed of that warning. But I think it has come to a head. I remember that leaders of Benue State have also made similar pronouncements. Unongo spoke, David Mark spoke, and Yosha, you spoke, Baha spoke. There's no doubting the fact that President Buhari came to Nigeria leadership on the platform of a cleansing agenda. I'm persuaded that the reason he contested 4 times was to execute the agenda of Uthman Danfodio. Otherwise, he would not be looking the other way when Nigerians are being butchered, macheted, and slaughtered and raped in broad daylight all over the country. There's no other word for it but ethnic cleansing. And people are jittery, people are afraid for their lives. The insecurity is becoming so loud as the Bedu drum, that it's just good that a person who is war-tested, a person who has seen it all in the military, former chief of army staff and so on and so forth, could make that kind of statement. And so it is kudos to General Danjuma that he came out to call on Nigerians to rise up and defend themselves. Because there's no doubt in my mind that the armed forces, including the police service, have been compromised. The other time, the IG went to Benue and he said that it was just a communal clash. It was just a misunderstanding between families, rather than confirm what the United Nations itself has said, that the Fulani herdsmen, terrorists, are the 3rd deadliest terrorist group in the world. So that what does we have to say?
But Chief, there are people who believe
to cleanse Nigeria of other ethnic nationalities.
But people who are not comfortable with this statement are saying, well, if we go this route, that an eye for an eye will eventually leave everyone blind.
Who said that? Who said an eye for an eye?
The presidency, supporters of the administration are saying, with this kind of statement, is akin to saying an eye for an eye, and they're saying eventually every one of us will go blind.
Very good. That's a very good statement. Let every Fulani houseman submit his eye to be plucked out, while others will be looking on. Then they will do me an eye for an eye. So somebody will be plucking every eye that is available, and you say that don't pluck his own eye until all the eyes in the world are plucked. So of course, if somebody plucks your eye, you are duty bound. If somebody slaps you, are duty bound to slap the person back. That's the only way. That's the only language terrorists know. You cannot say all this eye for an eye is a stupid palliative that doesn't make any sense in modern age. No culture practices, no culture respects that. When you slap an American, America goes to you with bazooka. When you slap a Chinese or you slap a Russian, they go after you. So every culture in the world defends itself. So this eye for an eye or no eye for an eye is a bogus statement that does not apply in the jungle, to which Nigeria has been has returned. Nigeria is a jungle.
Well, Chief, as an elder statesman, in all honesty, in all frankness, which way do you think Nigeria should go? Our leaders and even the followers also in resolving these particular conflicts, so that it doesn't, just engulf the entire nation. And they're saying we're moving ahead to the next election in less than a year, and all of these are happening. They're saying, the future does not particularly hold bright for Nigeria.
I've conversed, and several other right-thinking Nigerians have conversed that there should no need for any election if Nigeria is not restructured. If you do any election today, it will be continuity of the madness that we have had in the last 4 years or thereabout. If you conduct an election today, it will still be a regime that 34 governments in Nigeria find it difficult to pay salaries. It will still be a regime where senators are gulping, making millions and millions every month when the minimum wage is 18,000. It will still be a regime where a president disobeys laws of the land. So it will just be continuity of the madness that we've been subjected to. So truly, Nigeria should be restructured before any election should hold. I know that may not fly because politicians are always very, very self-centered, and they're thinking of the next election. They're thinking of when they're going to become governor, become member of the House of Assembly, become senator, and all that. So it's the politicians that are the next set of criminals that are disturbing the peace of Nigeria. So there should be no election before restructuring. And if they have to go ahead and do the structure and go ahead with the election, it will happen as it happened in 1983 when we said there should be no election in August 83. They went ahead and had the election, and we all know the consequences. As far as I'm concerned, Nigeria is not in position to do elections. Election is not the next agenda now. It's not what Nigerians are looking for. Nigerians are looking for peace. They are looking for security. They are looking for food to eat. They are looking for employment. So elections should not be on the front burner.
But we were saying maybe for now we should forget about elections. Many people reckon that this restructuring is a medium to a long-term plan. That in the short term, can we restructure Nigeria before 2019? If we don't do elections, aren't we elongating the tenure of this administration beyond 2019?
Yes and no. There are many ways you can kill a chicken without a knife. A serious-minded government, what they could do is to invite leaders of thought and
welcome back. That was a
get a national government sort of in place, and that national government will then arrange for election maybe in 2 years' time. It doesn't matter if we wait for 2 years to get normalcy to return rather than postpone the doomsday.
But Chief, do you honestly think this is workable considering our evident fault lines? The divisions within the country, north and south, east and west. Do you even think these leaders of thought will come together and agree on this national unity government?
A friend of mine was talking to me about
there must be some wise way of doing this. Other than use guns and the bronze, there must be some intellectual way of resolving this. And if they don't, if you cannot come to round table and discuss and negotiate and get things done, it means we are just postponing the evil. They are admitting Aburi rather than agree at Aburi. They went ahead, and then we had a bloodshed for 3 years that consumed over 4 million lives. At the end of the day, they still sat round table and discussed and negotiated when Effion came to surrender in the Don Barracks. So it's either you do the negotiation and agree before going to war, or you go to war and come back again and still discuss and negotiate. So, and I think the wise way is to negotiate now and agree on something. We have leaders of thought. Doesn't matter what divisions. The divisions you are talking about are divisions created by politicians. An ordinary Fulani man, an ordinary Igbo man, an ordinary Yoruba man, an ordinary Efik man has no problem with the other. They have no problem. They meet in the bar, they meet in the church, they meet in the mosque. They are jolly. It's when you have all these political jobbers that sparks are thrown into the wheel.
But there's been talks of ranching. There's been talk of colonies. Which one do you go for in resolving this? Maybe at least in the short term.
What I go for is what has been happening in civilized countries. A businessman devises the way to run his business. Cattle rearing is a business. It's a business. It's a business. It's a personal business. And they keep insulting and taunting and provoking Nigerians by assigning this personal business to federal government. Federal government has no business importing grass from Argentina to feed cattle. Anybody who owns cattle should feed his heads of cows. And Buhari has cattle. Why is his own? Why didn't he send anybody roaming the streets with his own cattle? Let everybody follow the example of Buhari. Let them put their cattle in cages in plantations and so on, and let them feed their cattle. After all, those who own these cattle are rich people. The men and women who are roaming the streets don't own even a head of cattle. It is the big men and big women who own these cattle. It is the big men who are purchasing AK-47 for militia to guard their cattle. So if they have such money to buy AK-47, they should have enough money to get their cattle in a place and feed the cattle on a spot. We've suggested a further system for them. I went to Spain in '84, came back with further system technology, and introduced to all the governors at that time. With further system, you can produce grass in 24 hours that will grow as high as tall as 8 feet. So you don't really need to go about roaming the streets. So what I'm saying is that those who own cattle, who are businessmen, should do their business the way fishermen are doing their own business, the way yam sellers, yam planters are doing their own business, the way tailors and carpenters are doing their business. Cattle rearing, animal husbandry is a personal business. It should not involve any government, should not involve federal government. But because they take Nigerians for a ride, which they've done since 1804, they think they can continue, and now we are seeing the result. Provocation, anger, disunity, and madness all over the place.
But Chief General Basanjo has spoken, General IBB has spoken, now General Danjuma has also spoken. Do you suspect a gang up here against President Muhammadu Buhari?
For God's sake, there's no gang up. When leaders of thought talk, what is gang up? Ganging up what? Like I'm talking to you, am I ganging up with anybody? Then it's not a question of gang up. People have rights to express their opinions. They may be leaders, they may be big men, they may be great men, they may be great leaders. They have every right to talk. It doesn't mean that they are. I'm sure I'm not in doubt that Danjuma did not consult with Babangida before making his pronouncement. Neither did he consult with Obasanjo before making his pronouncement. So there's no question of ganging up. These are men who have been tested, and who have seen the horrors of war, who have seen the horrors of anarchy, who have seen the horrors of madness that the gun can engender. And so they are warning Nigerians, they are warning the current leadership that they should tarry a little and let common sense prevail. Otherwise, Nigeria may be destroyed and wipe off the surface of the earth the way they are going. And unfortunately, there's no country in the world that accommodates Nigeria if we go into any war. With a population of 193, there's no way in the world that accommodates the fallout when it comes to refugees. Even right now, refugees, the internally developed, what are they called?
Displaced camps.
Yes, we're having serious problem handling that. Not to talk of Nigerians now going over to Cameroon, Nigeria, and everywhere once they can no longer stay in their own country. And the situation may come when a former minister, a former governor may be carrying bowl of empty bowl about begging for gari and begging for rice. We pray it doesn't get to that. But if they didn't learn from the experience of Somalia, the experience of Rwanda, the experience of Sierra Leone, and the experience of Liberia, I'm afraid.
We're up on the phone line, so you are
917 FM, and Facebook is Rave 917 FM. Do remember.
And the other side, they have their casualties. When the media will report these things, look at what happened in Mandela. The leader played this thing down. No one single life is higher or better than the other life. We should be very, very careful the way
security in this Nigeria. Let's put sentiment and emotions out there. This is our country. We have to study this and going to
All right.
This is our leader. Let them be ready of what they are saying. This
Thank
is
you.
how we survive. Let's work at it.
Thank you very much. All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining us. What do you know where you're calling from?
Emmanuel from Malaysia. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel.
Yes, you know, Mr. Femi, one thing stands sure. Truth can never be bent, even in the next 1,000 years. You know, the submission by the statesman, you know, this is the confirmation of what I've been saying for months, very point, that with the nepotism architecture of the security agency in Nigeria, the solution to this ethnic killing does not lie with this current government. But anyway, there's always every opportunity for you to retrace yourself. And this is another opportunity, this is another clarion call to the president and the government on board to retrace their steps and give us what we need. We voted them in to correct us. We know that we have so many mistakes on ground. And that's why so many
mind on the state of this nation. This may put a stop to the senseless killings. That's from Shegun Mawumi. And Daniel Delight from Oshogbo says, I think the general...
Many people have been killed. Unless we restructure this country, to be found.
All right. Thank you. Hello, good morning. Adesojomo Shebi from Oshogbo says, Nigeria is a country of absurdities. The more you look, the less you see. The more you get confused with all that is happening to our fatherland. Thank you very much. And Oluwase Kenwood on Twitter is saying, I think I'll...
Rave 91.7